channel, and welcome to yet another new project on the channel. This is my 1970 VW Beetle. Now, before I show you around it, I will say, and I will reiterate my promise, I'm not turning into a Volkswagen channel. But as cliche as it sounds, I have always wanted a Beetle. There's something so cool about them. I know it's cliche, but everybody says they're an iconic shape and this, that and the other, but I have always wanted one. And I think even since before I was into Hondas, maybe even before I was into cars, there was just something about it that always appealed to me. So every couple of years, or maybe a couple of times a year, I would have a look online and see what was for sale and see if anything was within my budget, because tidy ones are really expensive for what they are, considering some of them are 50 years old, 60 years old, whatever. But recently I spotted this one. It was relatively local. It was about 45 minutes from me, and I thought, you know what, I'm just going to go and look at it, and if it suits, I'm going to buy it. So I went and looked at it the bank holiday weekend there at Easter, made the deal, and Richie was the guy's name, and he was good enough to actually offer to deliver it for me. So he delivered it here a couple of days ago. Today is Monday, he delivered it on Friday. So let's have a little look around. We'll open up this again. I know you've seen a lot of this already, but we'll just have a closer look now. I did tidy up in here. There was a lot of rubbish in here, old rags and an old can of oil and just a couple of random bits were thrown in there. Now, I do intend on rewiring the whole car at some point, because look at that. I'm amazed that anything even works, to be honest. But for now anyway, it all seems to work, so I'm going to leave it alone. There's not much else to look at under there. Brake fluid reservoir over there. Now, in a lot of Beetles, underneath the spare wheel well down here is red rotten, but in this one it's actually really nice. Now, it is a very original car. I don't know how much, if any, patchwork or anything like that it has had. Now, it was originally red. I don't think this is the original red for a couple of reasons. A, because it's too shiny to be 55 years old, and also you can see there's red on the window seal there, and it's in a couple of other places, like the seals are on there and stuff. So I'd say at some point that's had just a quick scuff and spray painted red again or something. That could have been done in the last couple of years, I have no idea. The man that I bought it from, was actually his father's car. He bought it in 2019, and he had it up until about 6 or 8 months ago, I think he said. He gave it to his son, who had no interest in it, and that's who I bought it from. So I got a pretty good deal on it for what it is and the condition it's in, compared to what some things go for. I got a really good deal, so I'm very pleased with that. So what else can we show you that's interesting about it? It's a 1200, or according to what I was told anyway on some of the air-cooled pages, it's a 1200A, which means obviously it's the 1.2 litre engine, but also very basic bare bones inside. It didn't really come with carpet as such. It has, I don't even know what that is. It's I don't know what it is, but it's not fucking carpet anyway. It has a single speed wiper. It has no trim, say, on any of the pillars or anything like that. It's just a square headliner. I actually prefer that, to be honest. I think it looks cooler, because you could polish up all that exposed metal and it would look really cool. I don't know what kind of seat belts it had originally, but it has just random seat belts retrofitted into it. Same over here. Now, they're pretty shit now, to be honest with you. They feel kind of sketchy when you have them on, and these stalks are way too long. They need to be shortened. But I'm definitely going to pull those back ones out, because they look terrible, like when you're looking through the window. And I'll replace these as well. I'll just get a lap belt. I think it'd be an awful lot better, or at least look an awful lot better. Safety wise, maybe not so much, but it'll definitely look better. And isn't that the most important thing? Now, we'll pull this seat forward a bit, or up forward. Now, the floors, while they look really rough there, that's a little bit wet because there was the old floor mat was there, so there's a little bit of moisture in it. But having looked underneath the car, the floor pan on this side is in really good shape, as is the heater channel here, which, if you know anything about Beetles, they all rot really badly. Now, on this side, it's a completely different story. On this side, it's absolutely red rotten already. Hang on, I'll move this seat as well. Oh my goodness. So we have loads of the good stuff here, loads of it. There's a hole there, there's a hole just beside that, and there's numerous holes underneath there where the battery is. And there's also a couple of holes behind that panel there, which would expose, which are just there. So that all that needs replacing. And also, you can see down here, the side of that's the heater channel, is gone as well. So that'll need replacing. That side of the floor panel will need replacing, and probably that'll probably need replacing too. Now I'll know better when I take off that interior panel, that beige panel there, how bad that is. But again, that might just be a case of putting a couple of inches across there. Don't think it'll really be a big deal. So, but overall, it's a pretty solid car. See, what I was looking for was a project. Obviously I didn't want to spend 15 grand on a perfect one, you know. That's kind of pointless. What are you going to do with it? Just sit there and look at it. So what I wanted was something that was, say, ran pretty good, which it does, drives pretty nice, which it also does, but was a bit rough on the bodywork or paint wise or something like that. So this fit the bill, pretty much ideal. So while it definitely needs work. Now none of this is going to happen soon. This is just kind of an introductory episode about the car, but none of this is going to happen soon. The only things I'm going to do, what are we now, we're at the end of April now. I want to enjoy it for the summertime, say May, June, July, maybe into August. So what we're going to do now is stick it up on the lift, have a bit more of an in-depth look underneath it. I expect to find more horrors, because there always is, especially in something that's 55 years old. But while we're there, we're going to service it, we're going to change a couple of gaskets, we're going to do the usual stuff just so I can enjoy it throughout the summer. I figure while we're here, before we start servicing it, we'll give you a little look under here. Let me just grab my light now. So super oily and greasy under here, so that'll at some point I'll take the engine out and power wash it and degrease it and all that, but I'm definitely not doing it now. I don't know why there's a random pipe just there coming off the engine and just to atmosphere essentially. So if you're a Beetle person and you know why, let me know. Is that supposed to be like that, or is that supposed to be going somewhere? I have no idea. I noticed as well that the exhaust box isn't connected just there, which would explain why it's so freaking loud. We have a broken, where is it gone? It's over here. We have a broken heater control wire just there. Those two are supposed to be connected. That one and that one, you can see there's some bit of a, what looks like a bit of a nail or something tying them together. We have a hole in the bumper support on the body just there. Easy enough to replace. That doesn't even really need to be on it. That'll get chopped off at some point when that's getting patched. And underneath here, torsion bar cover is split kind of in the middle of your screen. It's hard to tell there now because it's dirty, but that's wrecked, which means that'll need bushings. Anyway, now before we show you any more, the front underneath, pretty good, all up around the top of the wing there. The seals there were the control arms, I guess you'd call them, all need to be replaced. The ball joints are all good, but the boots are starting to get really split, so they'll get changed at some point. But up under here, where the brake lines and the steering and all that kind of stuff is okay. The steering box will need to be rebuilt because it's very leaky and greasy there. The frame head, I believe they call it, is all fine. None of the nuts for the beam seem to be rounded off. It looks like this thing wouldn't have really been apart before. And also, interestingly enough, it has an anti-roll bar. I don't know if that's a common thing or not, but it has an anti-roll bar. The seals here are obviously weeping like hell. They're absolutely wrecked. We'll have to replace those. We have a split boot in the ball joint right there. The bushing is falling out of the shock just there. I can't really see up at the top from here. Can you see? It doesn't look too bad, I guess. The pan on this side is really good. Like, look up under there is all pretty good. Like, obviously, you know, it's a bit dirty and all that, but there's no big gaps or holes in it. Now the jack support, or the jacking point there, is wrecked across the middle, but either way I'll be cutting them off anyway, because normally when you lower a Beetle, they're one of the first things to start dragging on the ground, so they'll get chopped off. Back here is pretty good. Oh, it looks pretty nice. All the mounts there where the torsion arm goes, all that kind of stuff, the axle tubes all look okay, pretty dry. Same over here, looks pretty decent. I'll replace all the brake lines and stuff at some point too, but again, we're just having a look around for now. Now the bump stops, I noticed, are already taken out of it. They should be just under that, on the top of the arm, just there on that piece of the casing. So maybe this was lowered at some point, or maybe they fell out, who knows. I doubt this thing was ever lowered. There'd be more evidence of it if there was. But yeah, so the bump stops are missing. Now you can see there that's the working heater control there. There's levers inside that direct the heat forward and back. Gearbox is weepy, but again a lot of that can be rebuilt in the line or down the line. The axle boots, that one looks okay. That one looks okay for now. Oh, something just fell on me. Up here is kind of grubby, but again not crazy. But the pan itself on this side, you can see, is really tidy. There's no holes, no surface rust almost, you know, it's really tidy. And down the middle section, the actual frame, that's beaded section down the middle there, that's really nice as well. But unfortunately, you know, this is our driver's side pan, so we have a massive hole there under the battery, completely to be expected. The body mount kind of thing, that outrigger, I've heard people calling it, this piece along here, that's quite rotten, but that comes with the floor pan. The jacking point is completely separated from the body there, but again that'll be getting chopped off on the new one. It looks okay along here where all the bolts are, and then you get to the front. So we've got a big old hole there. We got really big ones along there. Now there's a massive chunk of fiberglass that was thrown over that, and you can see, let me just put this light up here. Let's stay there. Okay, so it's already had a couple of patches on it. You can see a weld along here, you can see more along here. Where are we? You can see more along there. So it's obviously probably had numerous patches put in it in time. But not only that, but the let's turn. Oh yeah, that's better. But like, we've got holes in here, we've got holes all the way down on here. That's the floor pan itself. So that piece all comes when you replace a floor pan, which means that the inner wing up here, this section, will all have to be replaced at some point. But again, I'm almost sure I saw that whole inner wing section for sale, but if not, that's a relatively flat piece that'll be pretty handy to fix. And then up here, this is all part of the body. Again, this is part of the floor pan. This is the heater channel. It's, can you see from here? Not really. Oh yeah, so this would be the bottom part of the channel, and then in here, what looks like a round exhaust pipe, that's where the heat comes from the back all the way up into the cabin. So that's what connects, say, the B pillar and the A pillar up here. Now the bottom of the pillar seems to be sturdy, but the door does sag a little bit, so I'm hoping there isn't any repairs to do down here, but there probably will be. But again, we fixed worse, you know. So, but overall, but like, obviously, you know, if you're not someone that has an idea of what they're doing, another big fucking nasty hole there, that's okay. But yeah, not so bad, I guess. Now when I say not so bad, I mean in regards, you know, as being someone that's done this kind of work before and isn't afraid to tackle it, and, you know, isn't afraid if it takes 2 years, but also the fact that pretty much everything is available for the car. I'm not worried about having to like custom make certain panels or something. Oh, look, I'm just after spotting. We have another shitty spot there, but again, that's an easy spot, just across there and across here. But yeah, just in regards to being, you know, not afraid to tackle it. So, but yeah, it's not that bad. Not really that bad compared to some of the stuff I've seen people trying to do online, you know. So with all that being said, let's have a look at the service bits we got. All right then, let's check out the loot. So this all arrived a while ago. So let's see, what have we got? That's cool how they itemize everything for you and your amounts and all that. That's cool. So this all came from VWspares.ie. Now obviously, clearly, I'm not sponsored by anyone like that, but I tell you, man, it'd be awesome if they were, or if I was, because the guys are really good to deal with, knew exactly what they were talking about. Okay, so valve cover gaskets. Mine don't really appear to be leaking, but while we're down there, we may as well change them. That is the gaskets and little sealing crush washers for the sump plate, which must be this guy. That's the strainer. That's what they have instead of an oil filter. That goes up onto like a pickup and you bolt it down. It's pretty cool. We got one of those. We've got, that is new condenser for the side of the distributor. That is, what does that say? Let's open it up and take a look. That is, oh, new set of points. Okay, we put new points in it and we can adjust those guys up accordingly. And to help doing that, I got a new set of feeler gauges. Right, we've also got our rotor. It's good to have a new one of those, which means that's probably the distributor cap, I imagine. It is indeed. Nice new one of those guys. Okay, we've got 4 plugs. I didn't actually check whether, yeah, they look right short, little kind of stumpy kind of plug, so they should be correct as well. We got 4 of those guys. We got a fuel filter. Now the fuel filter, the guy John that I dealt with, he said if I can at all, move the fuel filter from in the engine bay to either under the car or behind the back seat, because apparently fire is not an uncommon thing with these. But when I was stripping out the car a couple of days ago, someone has already moved it to behind the back seat. Now I'll probably move it underneath the car at some point, but it's fine where it is for now. And lastly, we have a set of plug leads. Now I thought I ordered the plate, the like sub plate thing for that as well, but I guess I didn't. No, I guess I didn't. It shouldn't matter anyway, because the one that's on it, I'm sure will clean up fine. So that's all the stuff. So let's get to sticking it all in the car. So there it is, my 1970 VW Beetle. We got a lot of work done. We got the distributor cap, we got the rotor plugs, plug leads, condenser points, all that kind of stuff. Shout out to my dad for showing me how to how to gap the set of points, which I'd never ever done before in my life, but that was his bread and butter when I was a kid. But it's also going to need a lot more work, as you've seen, the heater channel, the floor, a couple of things here and there. But overall, I'm super happy with the purchase. I think it's a good one. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. As I mentioned at the start of the video, nothing is going to happen particularly soon now with this project, but you know, we've got a couple of other things to get going. We've got some fuel system stuff to do on the lowrider. We need to do a gearbox oil change in the Polo. We need to do some paint on the wagon. So we've got plenty more content coming, but for now, thanks for watching. If you're someone that knows a lot about Beetles and you have interest in, say, information about 1200s in particular, or other little things to look out for, by all means, please stick it down in the comments there, let me know. And thanks for watching. We'll see you soon.